Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Yo, what's up guys? Have a look at the thumbnail, not the thumbnail, have a look at the description box for timestamps to see which part of the video when I jump to. You know, sometimes I tend to ramble, it is what it is. But yeah, this is basically analysis on what I think Potter is doing with this team. Psychologically, tactically, mentally, spiritually, physically, all the illies. So yeah, let's get into it guys. So, we can see that there seems to be, especially towards the end of that Chelsea and Leicester game, there were patterns of play that I noticed that were drilled into the team. Increases in speed of passing, passing triangles, places where players had to be and position themselves, individual instructions received from Potter, like Gallagher, for example, who had a role in disrupting play throughout that game, like I mentioned previously, and all these little things that I'm starting to see in the team. Obviously, it's only been a few games, but there's a few tinkerings in this team that are quite evident that I feel are really important. I think one of the biggest ones is it all started with the formation change. Potter changed to a 3 at the back, and that obviously changed a lot of things in this team. I'm not going to go too hectic into each of the little incremental changes and what that did per se, but it definitely increased the team's confidence, and you could see Potter was more comfortable giving instructions on the sidelines with this formation. I'm not sure if it was a formation change or the fact that this man's job was under pressure, or a combination of both, but it's interesting that it's come at this time. But the biggest thing I want to look at is the psychological tinkering that is occurring throughout the squad basically, and how Potter is essentially man-managing each of these players in a specific way, and a way that is what I thought he was known for, at least. You know, the whole MSc in emotional intelligence he has seems to finally be at work. And obviously, I mentioned to a couple of people and fellow Chelsea fans before he came into the team, as you know, he got the contract or whatever, I was worried, A, for if he's suitable for a large team like Chelsea, and B, that he has a psychological approach to the game, and generally psychological approaches to anything, or being able to change a mindset or a psychological impression on anything actually takes a lot of time, guys. It's not an overnight thing. It's deeper than a system change, and he combines that with his football and gets his team to play a certain way with some kind of a freedom. If we looked at that in his past two teams, or Brighton the most notable, because I don't think anyone was watching the Austrian league or wherever else he was before. But the psychological tinkering, I mean, is like he takes each man and he's done something with each of these players. So if I look at, I'm going to take a list of players, right? If I look at Cucurella, for example, one of his old players, Cucurella was having a nightmare, and Potter decided to bench him eventually, because apparently he had psychological issues as well. Things were going on, we don't have too many details on that, but it is what it is. And he brought him back for the most important game of his career, Potter I mean. And obviously his job was highly at risk at that point. If they got knocked out of Champions League, it would have been very difficult for Burnley to defend Potter. So he brings him on for such an important game, putting him in a position that's also kind of tough to play defensively. Like we've seen Cucurella play on the left side of a back three, and generally it hasn't panned out well. But this time he actually played a blinder, actually got a man of the match performance and earned his start against Leicester, and he played a good match again. So it's interesting what he did with him, in that he benched him for a certain time, which is what I was calling for personally, in that he had a lot of psychological issues, and I said, listen, I don't think Cucurella is a bad player, I just think he's having some issues, but constantly playing him when he has bad form isn't going to help anyone. I thought the same of Mount, I thought the same of Havertz. Havertz is another case we'll come to just now. Kovacic, for example, he's another one. Given the captain's armband, at some point they were talking about selling him, you know what I mean, which I definitely didn't want, because I rated him as one of our top midfielders, barring Kante, who was injured. And yeah, they're thinking of selling him to balance the books, along with Calmness and Odoi, who's coming back next season, etc, etc. But you know, he's been given the captain's armband and he's been playing really well, and he even got a goal, so that's always a good thing, and that's one for the future. Another one is Kai Havertz, who's the best example, because like constantly he has been played, and you could see Potts has had private talks with him, I feel, and he's told him that, no, I believe in you, just keep doing what you're doing the right thing, provoking, try this, try that. And Kai Havertz has played 2 very good games, being the Dortmund one and the Leicester one, and he's looking very confident in his play. Like my one friend said, he's got this FU attitude to the way he plays, and that's great to see. And who else? There's another one, Gallagher, who's been fulfilling his role ever since he gets subbed on. He's just a good soldier, like, because before it was like, you know, what does Gallagher do? Now he's finding a place, but slowly but surely in this team. Like, he comes on for Felix earlier every time to disrupt play, put on pressure. He doesn't have too many responsibilities, but when he gets these little responsibilities, when he has to carry the ball forward, he does that well too. So stuff like that, you know what I mean? Fofana as well, ever since he's come on, we've depended on him. We've been missing him, to be honest. Like, we kind of wrote him off. We thought he was just a player who gets injured constantly and just kind of overpriced, but he's been playing a blinder ever since he started for us. Koulibaly, who has mentioned behind the scenes that, you know, he's been on Potter's side and defending Potter. Potter has repaid that faith by playing him constantly in a position that can make him very vulnerable, because I always accused him of being impetuous, but he's looking calmer and more suited in that centre back role, right in the middle of the back 3. And he's doing quite well. Got the assist for Ben Chilwell, who scored. Mudryk, another person who I think is slowly, surely coming up psychologically as well, who Potter decided to play in that game, and I think he wouldn't take him off until he got an assist or a goal, just to boost his confidence, and he played that game quite well. And also, people were saying that he played through the middle, like I said before, so that might be a positional thing and a tactical thing that he's doing with Mudryk to try see where he best suits the team, and he really believes in him. So it's nice to see little aspects like that, guys, across the board, and it's leaking to all the other players as well, slowly but surely. Enzo has good confidence. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, when he gets to play, he's doing well. Sterling, whenever he gets to play, João Felix, you know what I mean? All of these guys are actually doing very well. And psychological grit is one of the most important things, if not the most important, when it comes to any aspect in life, especially football. Anyone's ever grown up playing sports, especially when it gets really competitive, it's basically you versus yourself a lot of the time. So that mental grit is very important to have, and I'm starting to see it in this team, and it's what I've been calling for a very long time across all the coaches we've had. And a lot of the time I feel like we've been lacking mentality and grit. So if this is the beginning of the development of that, then I'm all for it. I'll be happy to be proven wrong. All the people can come on and comment and say, nah, but you wanted Potter out. 100% I did. I don't now, but I'm still watching him closely. Just like Fabrizio said, the board is also still watching him closely. They watch this Leicester game, and they're still going to watch Everton game. So it's good that they're not just, you know, contract for life, keep him on forever kind of thing. There's a standard still to maintain in this club, and I resonate 100% with that. But yeah, it is awkward, guys. I won't lie, because I had a video filmed about possible managerial candidates that a lot of you are asking me to put up. So I mean, let me know if you still want to post it. I still might anyway. I don't know. I'll see how I feel. But the mood has definitely changed, guys. I'm for the better, for sure. And we're definitely watching Potter. As a team, we're all looking slightly calmer. It was actually good that we conceded, so I can see exactly how we react when it comes to moments like that. We didn't put our heads down. We kept pushing on. We kept calm, even towards the end of the game when it was 3-1. It was like, cool, job done. Changed to a back 4. System was still intact. Everything was still fine, which I really appreciated. Pass the ball around, keep calm, everyone fulfill your role. It was perfect. I love to see that mental calmness and that grit that we have. We push when we need to push, we relax when you need to relax. We don't get agitated by opponents. Like, these guys were quite rough when they played against us. There were a lot of fouls that could have been yellows, easy reds sometimes at the beginning. I'll post that kick on Felix by Pereira. It's like, that's his countryman. Like, what the heck? Also, that Amate kick on Havertz. Yeah, man literally had battle scars all over his torso, so that was like a bit hectic for me. And we still kept calm. We didn't fight with them. Unlike that other game, for example, when what's his name, Ziyech lost his cool with that one player and ended up getting a red card, you know what I mean? But it got rescinded. But still, it was just that moment where people lost their cool, and it's never good in moments like that to lose your cool. So it's good to see that we're a lot calmer as a team. Collectively, heads don't drop. We're still pushing forward. What I accused Potter of not doing before was not having an identity for this team, and there not being incremental changes in our patterns of play. But now all of that is actually coming together. There seems to be some form of change. Granted, it has only been 3 games, 3 good results on the bounce. And yeah, 3 games where I've seen that. The Leeds was a bit edgy, but the Dortmund and the Leicester one, great games. I can see exactly what Potter is doing, and like I said, it's good to see him communicating with the players, having some tactics, being positive, and now these press conferences I can actually watch without losing my mind. But yeah, it's always good to see. So yeah, basically that's how I feel Potter's doing with this team so far. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe, guys. And yeah, a lot of you watching this channel aren't subscribed yet, so please subscribe to see more content. Like, comment, be vocal. Tell me